So the last class we looked at, we finished the shared responsibility, the security section. So today we are moving into monitoring, and then we're going to look at pricing. That will be just like the almost the end. Um, and the first one is talk about monitoring. We know that monitoring is just to monitor. Even when they say a village people, they say a village people are behind you. It means that they're monitoring spirit. Uh, Frederick, you have two devices, so you have to mute one, and then you turn down the volume of one completely. Yeah. All right. So you guys can see my screen, correct? Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can. Yeah, I'm trying to leave one of these.
All right. Okay. So, oh, la, la, I'm not going on TikTok today. I'm tired. I need a TikTok manager. All right. So, the first service for monitoring, it's called CloudWatch. Just from the name, I like the way AWS usually names some of the services because just the name of the service gives you an idea of what the service is all about, right? So monitoring is all about watching. And so the service that AWS has to do monitoring is called CloudWatch, right? So it's a web service that enables you to monitor and manage various metrics and configure alarm actions based on data, right? Alarm is simply if you want to wake up in the morning, you set an alarm for 5 o'clock, which means that when it's five, something it should alert you that five now it's 5 o'clock. The same thing with CloudWatch. CloudWatch has alarms where you can monitor a particular service for a metrics. Metrics is just different unit of measurement. It can be disk space, it can be network traffic, it can be anything you want to monitor, right? But you have a particular threshold. Say, if the computer, the CPU is maybe 70%, alarm, send me a notification, right? Send me a notification that I should know that this time around, my CPU utilization is 70%. So all of those things you use CloudWatch to monitor, and you can now easily set an alarm. Then it has a dashboard where you can actually see the data. You can actually see what is happening graphically like that. So let me be talking and then I show you as well how it all goes since I have my accounts here already. Like now I have these instances that are running. If I select, for example, this instance and I come here under monitor, you're going to see that it's going to bring some data showing me the different data, how the traffic, this is network, right? See, it's monitoring how my network is going over time. So it have an insight of everything that is happening with a particular service. Now, this is just my instance, but CloudWatch can be used to monitor all the services in AWS like that. You see CPU utilizations. Then, if you see here, you see alarm recommendations. But now we are not in CloudWatch, we are still in EC2, but you can actually have CloudWatch here. For me to actually go to CloudWatch, I'll go here and I see CloudWatch. I'll search for CloudWatch. CloudWatch as a service. This is it. So if you see the if you see here, you see that monitor resources and application. So any question you come across when you talk about monitoring, you should think about CloudWatch. So you have an overview of the CloudWatch. You have this is the logs. You can set investigations. You have all metrics, the different metrics that you want to monitor, elastic load balancer, for example. Uh, so it all depends on the particular metrics that you want, like that. So if I put this, oh, Z twist, my graph search. me add this. Right. Now I'm not doing the right action. Hold on, let me cancel all of this back. Okay, the last load balancer all. Right. Where's my graph? Explore. Right. 286. Okay, EC2. Let me go back one bit. View automatic dashboard. Okay. Why is the dashboard not coming forward? Ah, browse. Okay. Now it will start coming. My graphs are not coming as I want it to come. So it's supposed to come here. All of this does not have. I want to show you particular data sets from CloudWatch. Let me look at what specific to. Okay, CPU network in, this one, network out, this. CPU utilization, no name. Okay, CPU utilization. So as of this time, this is my time. As of this time, there is no particular data here. So these are the data sources. So you can literally select, you see that they'll have different colors. So if we have something here on the custom, you're going to see as you're selecting the as there's data, it's going to be showing you on the graph, just as we had from the part of the EC2, like that. So we actually just use the CloudWatch to monitor the resources so that you can make informed decisions and understand what is actually happening within the application or the service that you are using. Like that. So that's all for CloudWatch. You can use it for CPU utilization. You can use it for request made, the networking, whatever it is. EBS volumes, you can measure it and all of that. So that is just three main things for CloudWatch. CloudWatch is used to watch metrics. Metrics is just data points across time, like that. But you don't really need to know all these details, but just understand what CloudWatch is, what CloudWatch alarms are. So you create alarm to perform an action for you. So it alarms and then it sets an action, be it you want to terminate the EC2 instance, you want to stop it, you can say, okay, if, for example, if you have an attack, and we know that we learned about DDoS attack the last time. So if you say, if a particular IP address hits the server, maybe makes more than 100 requests within 1 minute, we know that that is a denial of service attack, right? You cannot set an alarm. So if within a minute there's a spike in requests from a particular IP, what should happen? That IP should be blocked. The EC2 instance maybe should be shut down. Whatever actions you want to happen, then it's going to happen. So the dashboard is just there to give you a graphical view of actually what is being watched your um in your application or service, like that. Now, the next service is called Cloud Trail. What does a trail mean? Trail is simply following what you do as a user in your in your service. Like now, we're monitoring applications. Now, how do you, for security reasons, you want to know who is doing what in the account, right? You want to understand, say, if Sam Ray logs into the account today, what did Sam Ray do? Did he create an EC2 instance? Did he delete something? Because I don't know. Now, how will I be able to know as an engineer who is ensuring the safety of the AWS account or the company's account? I'll need to be able to have some data about what everybody does so that when we're talking about auditing, if there's an error, if there's an attack, we should know who did what. So there is a service in AWS that records the trail of everybody. It records the API for everybody. or everything that is happening within your account. It is called Cloud Trail. So it trail you, or it trails all the actions that is being performed in your account. And then at the end of the day, it stores this data in S3 like that. So it's just like um a spy. Voilà. So it's just like a spy, right? It keeps trails, it picks out after the trail of everything that happens to your account. So if you see your cloud trails, records API call for your account, right? So the recorded information includes identity of the API call. API call is simply a user where you any user or service that makes access your account is access them through an API call. Now, so it keeps it the records includes identity of the API call, either it is a user or a service, because if it EC2 access S3. That one is not a user, right? But it's a service accessing another service. It's still an API call. All right, so it's going to identify that easy to access um, S3 like that. So it will take the time of the API call, the source of the IP, and more. So it keeps all these information together, right? So so you say you can call CloudTrail as breadcrumbs or logs of action that someone has left behind them, like that. So the events are typically within 15 minutes after the call. You can filter the events by specifying who, when, and how. So if I go back to my account, why is it this one? And I go to CloudTrail, CloudTrail. So you see, it's track user activity and API usage, like that. So by default, it's not enabled. So you need to create a CloudTrail. If I go to dashboard, even though it's enabled, but it's not really um, put into, it's not really stored unless you enable it and you want the data. Now it's here. So if you look here, let's just see. Let's just investigate this now. If you look here, event history. Now, let's see instance information. If you look at the time, what is my time here? Okay, no, it's using a different. Okay, I think it's using the same time. Look at this time. This is June 21st, 2025, 11:54. Update instance information console login. So if I open this now, it's going to show me in this is the data. It shows the platform of everything, the IP address of the instance. What this has done, this is an API call, right? From what I want to look for is user agent source IP is this instance event name update instance information. Who did that one? Okay, it was done by default. Account ID is this, and the principal was this. So this was not me. This is an automatic stuff that just happened. So this is an event that was recorded. Let's go back to event history. So you can see the history of what is actually happening in the account generally. Now, this one is an I am user. Okay, so this is an event, I am user, and the username is Baba, right? The event console login when I logged in. And this is my current IP address for my computer, like that, right? And the login was successful. If it was not successful, it will tell you that it was not successful. It tells you that I'm using a Macintosh Apple Chrome system to actually log in like that. So it gives you all this information. I logged it into this link. It was not a mobile version and on all of all these other things. So you see that generally, if I want to know the people that have logged in, I can come now and filter who are the people that have logged in into this account just from the trail, like that, from the event record. So this is what CloudTrail does. It traces you or it keeps information about what is actually happening within the account, both API calls and user activity, whatever the case is, like that. So all these other things are automatic. All the other things are automatic. And it records, you see, this is my name here, username Baba. But these other ones are not users per se, but they're all the EC2 instance. Everything that is happening, a particular service does what in your account, it's keeping the trail for you. So that is what CloudTrail is used for. So it's an excellent tool um, when it comes to auditing and security like that. So you see, it takes what happened. A new IAM user, Mary, was created. Who made the request? IAM user John. When did this occur? It tells you the time. How was the request made? Through the management console. So it gives you that details, right? And then within CloudTrail, you can enable CloudTrail Insights. This is an optional feature that allows you to automatically detect unusual IP activities in your account, right? For example, there could be like a higher number of EC2 instances that have been created recently. That is an unusual account. People hack people's account like this. I had one account one time. Okay. I went to bed. I had a class like this. I went to bed, just load my one EC2 instance. Then the next day, I want to have a class. I saw that they have created 1,250 something EC2 instances in my account. I mean, they were using it to mine Bitcoin. Until AWS had to call me, like they had to shut down the account completely, no access, they delete the account like that. So that is how all of these things work, which is with that you can monitor, you can see the source, you can be able to block the accounts and all of that. So two things: CloudWatch monitors, CloudTrace trails, keeps action, it records activities of users and API calls. Those are the two things that you need to know about these services. Now, which tasks can you perform using AWS CloudTrace? Select two. Monitor infrastructure in real time. Track user activities and API requests through your AWS infrastructure. View metrics, filter logs to assist operational analysis and troubleshooting. Configure automatic action alerts in response to metrics. So which two is correct here? Which two statements are used here uh for 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 CloudTrail? 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4. I'm waiting for your chat, your response. Today I'm not hurry. I don't have a program to go. We'll sleep here.
You have two, 2 and 4.
2 and 4. Who has another answer?
2 and 3.
2 and 3. Okay. 2 and 3. Say 2 and 3. Who has another answer? All right. So now to view metrics, let's explain. When you see track user
I'll
activity,
go with two and five.
okay, this guy say 2 and 5. So okay. Oh yeah, yeah. All right. So now when you talk about automatic actions and alerts in response to metrics, this is not CloudTrail, that is CloudWatch. Right? Who is writing on my screen? So now to filter packets, you're writing on my screen.
Sorry.
So now I was explaining that tracking user activities and requests through your account, that tracking user activities, that's API. Uh, that's Cloud. trail because you're tracking, right? And then to view metrics, why is this not correct? Is to view metrics and graph to monitor performance. It already has monitor and metrics, which is not CloudTrail. But then you see that when you track records, you log them to assist for operational analysis and troubleshooting, which means that you need to investigate and all of that. So the right answer here is 2 and 4, because we are tracking the user's activities. You log them, and then you can use them for analysis and troubleshooting. So if we submit, that one is correct. All right. Now, AWS Trusted Advisor. The last time we look at Inspector, right? AWS Inspector in security. Now you have Trusted Advisor. Just from the name advisor, yeah, it's an advisor that advises you on best practices within your AWS account, right? So it looks at your environment, it checks what you are actually doing, and then it finds the best practice, best way to reduce cost, improve performance within your AWS environment. That is what Trusted Advisor is doing. AWS Inspector that we did before inspects and gives recommendation based on security. So those are the two things, because it can come in handy to confuse you that what is the difference between an advisor and what is the difference between AWS inspector. Inspector is inspecting your account to look at vulnerable, to look at weak spots for security, and gives you recommendations or advice based on that. But this advisor does not limit to security, but it limits to performance. It goes to performance, cost optimization, security, fault tolerance, service limit. So it gives you advice on all best practices on how to use your AWS infrastructure. Now, the green indicates that the number of items for which it detected has no problem. The orange triangle represents the number of recommended investigations, and then the red circle is the number of recommended actions. So the actions that it recommends you to take, the investigations that it wants you to perform, right, based on the advice. So that is what Trusted Advisor is used for. So it just like gives you guidance for best practices like that. You have a question? All right. So this is summary of what we have done and the module quiz. Let's go to quiz now. Please, I want everybody to participate in this fast, right? So which actions can you perform with AWS Cloud? Well, select 2. I want your answers in the chat. Monitor resources, utilization and performance, receive real-time guidance, compare infrastructure to best practice, assess metrics from a single dashboard, automatically detect unusual account activities. Select 2 answers. Which? 1 and 4 for Samrim. Give me a minute. Please put your answer. You people have only one answer. There. Good on. Pleasure. Good. Cool, doesn't it? Okay, I'm on the section. I'm si c'est petit pour ceux qui on partage la réflexion. Pas de souci. Go. Go. All right. So one person went for 1 and 4, another 1 and 3. Bob say 1 and 3. So 1 is correct. Let's see. 3 is a compare infrastructure best practices in 5 categories This is not CloudWatch. CloudWatch does not compare. CloudWatch monitors using dashboard. So 3 is out of the box. Access metrics from a single dashboard. When it monitors, it needs to give a visual representation of the graph, how the stuff is going. So it uses a dashboard. So this is correct. Automatically detect unusual account activities. This is not CloudWatch. CloudWatch monitors, it doesn't detect. Let's see. CloudWatch monitor. Sorry, I went to borrow water. My water is finished, so I'm thirsty. So CloudWatch does not detect, it monitors, and then you can set an alarm based on the activities, the threshold that you want, right? So the right answer is 1 and 4. All right, submit. Okay, next. Which service enables you to review the security of your AWS S3 by checking for open access permission? Hey, this one will pass you. Okay. So which service enables you to review security of your AWS, of your Amazon S3 bucket by checking for open access permissions? Which which service is here that enables you to review? A, B, C, or D? Everybody has gone to 3. 3, 3, 3. Are you sure it's 3? Okay, let's see 3. My own self, I have a different answer. We'll go to 3. Someone say 4. Guard duty is not for this. This one cannot be guard duty. So it's either a trusted advisor that gives you best practice or security, which is correct. So the trusted advisor will normally inspect and then gives you best advice on security as well, and everything, permissions, security review, and all of that. So it is trusted advisor.
Habibi.
Enes, you're saying something? Now, GuardDuty provides intelligent threat detection for AWS environment like that. Okay. Now, which categories are included in AWS Trusted Advisor Dashboard? Select 2. Which of the 2? We saw the Trusted Advisor Dashboard, right? Which 2 are there for Trusted Advisor? If you could remember. But I don't think you guys will remember though. So for best practices, 2 and 5. Somebody said 2 and 5. I just wanted to say, so you remember, yes. I think 2 and 5 is correct. There's no scalability as best practice. There's no elasticity as best practice. There's no reliability as best practice. Practice goes from cost optimization, performance, security, fault tolerance, and what again? I talk about performance. And what again? The last thing, the 5 pillar, I'm forgetting it. Right. So we have that performance and fault tolerance. Like
Service
that.
limits.
Service limits. Yes, you're right. Service limits. That's the 5th one. So those are the 5 main things when it comes to trusted advisory dashboard. So best practices like that. Okay. So you see that one it's easy peasy. The next one is AWS pricing and support. So this is just to understand the different pricing for AWS. Now, the first one is free tier. What is free tier? Free tier simply enables you to begin certain services without incurring costs for a specified period of time. Like now, when you create an AWS account for the first time, most resources are free for 12 months. So you can access resources that you have some that are free for period of time. Then you have some that are free for 12 months. Then some that are always on trial, which means that on trial basis, you have a period of free, and then after you pay for it, right, like that. So that is what I mean by the free trial. So there are three types: always free services, 12 months, and then the trial period, right? So always free. This offer does not expire, so they are available to all AWS customers. For example, AWS Lambda, the first 1 million requests are free, and up to 3.2 million seconds of compute time per month. So this one is always free. It doesn't care. Amazon DynamoDB allows 25 gigabyte of free storage per month, always free. Like that. That's how it is. Now, free trial means that some of the services are free when you sign up from the date of sign up till 12 months. For example, Amazon S3 standard storage threshold for monthly hours, easy to compute time. You have 720 hours free per month. The amount of CloudFront data transfer out is also free. Now, trial means that it's free just for a short term, maybe for a particular date and all of that. So that's just the free part of it. So free trial includes 3 offers that are available to new customers for a certain period of time following sign-up date. What is the duration of this period? A, B, C, or D? D. Loisa is D. Okay. D is correct. Frederick D. Great. Oh, guys, I have some guys that are working. They're working up, so you'll be hearing noise from time to time. Now, pricing concept. How does AWS pricing works? How does they price their services? Because at the end of the day, you need to understand how pricing works, because when you're choosing Ah, as an AWS engineer, you are going to be part of your job is going to be analysis, right? You need to do cost forecasting so that once you're building a solution, they need to know the cost, what it's going to be before for the entire product. So you need to understand how pricing works. So I'll just show you an example of my job. One of the things I do, one of the things I did, not that I do, I don't do it anymore. Not this one. Here, come here. Let me go here, and I go here. Okay. If you see, this is like the real work that I do. Okay, if you see here, this is cost forecast. This is a document. Cost forecast for future store DynamoDB, right? You start by calculating. They give you, like, your company wants to say, okay, we want to use a particular database. You need to calculate total records. So we're talking about 5 million records. You put the size of one record by 5 million. You calculate the storage, cost per storage, and all of these things. Pricing calculator, fixed cost storage, make the analysis, annual cost for daily write to the database. So these are the things you calculate them. And so with this, I'm just showing you this as an example because it just aligns with what I've done at my job, right? So you see for frequency write, you're like approximately cost per year. You need to give all of this as an engineer when you're dealing with starting a solution. So that is why you need to understand how pricing works because it enables you to be able to do calculated cost for your system. That is just, or that is why you need to know. And what are the tools that are there for pricing? So now AWS offers a range of cloud services for pay-as-you-go pricing. Now, you pay for what you use, which you already know like that. that for each service, you pay for exactly the amount of services that you actually use without requiring long-term contract. Now, pay less when you reserve. We saw this with EC2 pricing, right? That there are reserved instances where if you reserve, so if your choice of solution is, I want to use it for long time, so I prefer to reserve it, so you pay less depending on your use case. Then pay less with volume-based discount, like that, based on your storage. It all depends on you. Now, what are some of the tools that enables you to do the calculations of pricing? You have the AWS pricing calculator, which you can use for any service to actually have to calculate the pricing. For example, if I show you directly here, you have AWS calculator. It's even here, what part of what I've searched. This should be the first one, pricing calculator. So this is it. If I want a cost estimate for any service, say if I want to create an EC2 instance, right? I want a cost service for EC2. I'll select the region, say it's in North Virginia. Now, which service? I'll just say EC2. So you yourself can do this. You don't need an AWS account to do this one, right? So I want an EC2 instance, so I'll take configure here. Now it'll start asking you what type of instance you want. You want a shared instance, dedicated instance, or whatsoever. Linux or Windows, what do you want, right? Number of instances you're looking for. I want just one. vCPU or the instance family that you want. Let's say we want, I want T2 or T anything. Okay, let's just say T3 micro. This is T3. This is T2 here. So if I'm selecting T2, my T3 micro here, now you see it's going to show you if you're paying upfront, no upfront for 3 years contract for reserve instance, cost saving, you're going to pay $3 per month. If you're paying savings plans, 3 years reserve term, no upfront cost, you're going to pay 3.29. So you see that this one is cheaper than this. But if you're using on-demand instance, we know on-demand instance, you see, you're going to be paying approximately $7 per month, right? And if you're using spot instance, you're still going to pay $7.6 per month, like that. So you see that this is literally the calculations. Now, based on what you want to use, then you can now choose, I can add this. You see the cost here. It's going to give you the cost or based on what you've selected. So if I'm selecting this guy, you see all the cost calculations at the end. It's going to give you the total monthly cost, which from this now you can estimate the yearly cost for instance, rather how you want to plan your budgeting. So that's just what the AWS calculator does. It enables you to understand the pricing, any service that you really, really want, like that. So that's how the pricing calculator works. You can do it for AWS, data for Amazon S3, and all of that without actually worrying your head on, to go and read the documentation to see that they see the cost for this is this, they start calculating. No, you can just use the AWS calculator and then you do all of that. Now, when you are using the resources in AWS, you need to pay for, right? When it comes to greetings to you, Doro Security. When it comes for you to pay for, now AWS needs to give you a bill. When you talk about pricing, you do a forecast. Your forecast is actually different from what you've actually consumed. So the cost and management board enables you to monitor the usage and analyzes the cost of your actual resources. So you can compare monthly balances from your previous month to your current month, the cost explorer to explore the different services, how it's being charged, and all of that. So if I also still have to show you this on my account, let me sign in here with a root account. Let me sign in here. I show you my cost. Oh God. My cost is high and wide. For me, I cannot, come on now. I don't want to use this here. Uh, give me one minute. Let me access it from a different account here. That guy, it's forcing me to use, what do you call it? I don't want to use, I don't want MFA for my, it's okay. Let me just use, mm, Microsoft. We did this in the security part, right? So I'm going to select an app, Microsoft Authenticator. Hold on. Let me configure this from my phone directly. So I need to authenticate my guy. One. What am I going to do? Okay. First digits we'll put here 203904. So I'll put the second digit here. So this is like the extra layer of security we talk about. I just want to show you how the course work. Okay, put the second code is 687464. Register. All right, so continue to console. So now that is successfully activated in my account now. So if you see my bill here for my resources that I've used my bill is estimated grand total is 54 euros, dollars, sorry. And under the cost, so I'm under bill, AWS billing. So under the cost, you can see detailing how the cost is breakdown per services. Now, the first one is Elastic Compute Cloud, that's the highest cost. It's costing $31. So if I open it, you see that it's in the region Stockholm that has the 31. If I still open it, it's going to show you now all the services, how the cost is breaking down within the different services and the number of hours per service that has been consumed, right? The credits and everything that involves with my EC2 instance, all of that, the cost is break down into that category. If I go to VPC, I'll see that my VPC is consuming only in the Stockholm region. I have my VPC itself, which is free. Then I have the IP address, which I'm paying for. For now, it has gone to 1,707 hours, and it's costing me $8.5. Like that. Data transfer. I have zero for data transfer. So those are my highest costs from here upward. So this is what is giving me that total amount. The rest is zero while I'm paying a tax of 9 euros, giving me a total bill of 54.5 US dollars. So this is cost optimization. So this is how you can see cost. Now you can still come to your billing, payments, how to input your credit cards, what your pay that your transactions that you've carried out. I paid in June, I paid in May, right? So each time for a transaction, you can download your receipts from here. Look like now you can compare. In May, I paid $22. In June, I paid $80. And now I'm going to 55. So there was a drop. You can come now to Cost Explorer to actually explore your cost usage for the past month to see which services consume more like that. So you see the blue service was easy to consume more. So this is how you can really, really, really deal with the AWS billing to understand the cost, see the cost from December, January, February, March, April. These are the costs in April for all the services. EC2 instance, it was 10. Then in May, it's 32. Then you can now go to June when June is available. After June, we cannot compare and see for June like that. So you can have it month by month. So that is how it is. This is how you really get an overview of the services that they're using and the costs, the actual cost that is different from the forecast. You can see month by month what has been consumed when you add a new service, how it impact your cost. And if you maybe you need some optimizations, like now I need optimization because I'm paying too much, right? Okay, I'm running on an EC2. I'm working with the guys on internship. We should run it on container to use ECS for better cost. It's going to reduce my price maybe to like $10 or so. So that is how you optimize costs at the level of even your company, like that. And this is how you measure. But now this is a very critical part because not everybody has access to, right? Not everybody has access to costing. Only the people that are responsible, maybe you're an admin and all of that, you are the main engineer and like that. Consolidated billing is just when we talk about AWS organization, we say that we can have multiple accounts per department, individual accounts, then it is managed by an organization. Now, within the organization, we need to have a consolidated billing of all the other accounts into one management account. So this is where the idea of consolidated billing comes in. You can see you have the primary account. Account one costs this, account two costs this, account three costs this. And so there we can now see the different services for the account for the total charge that you're supposed to pay is 73. So when you consolidate all the accounts together, this is also in terms of size of storage. And so consolidation is just bringing everything, all the accounts, all the sub accounts in your organization together to actually have a single bill. That is all, nothing there else. Then budget. Now, since we are, sorry guys, we know that budget, it's about budgeting. Even in your day-to-day life, you budget like, okay, today, last week, last month, I spent 50K. This month, I want my budget to be 40K. I don't want it to pass. So I need to budget myself very well. So you plan ahead, right? Even you plan ahead and try to ensure that you are within that budget, right? But even though you might surpass the budget, but you need to have a budget like that. So the same thing goes with AWS. You can set a budget, your monthly target in AWS. Say, I don't want to go past a certain amount. Like me, my budget is $100. I cannot pass $100. So once it's, then you're going to set an alert. See, once I have consumed my budget to maybe 60, 70, or 80%, please notify me. So AWS is going to notify you when you set your budget. When they say your threshold is about 80% of that budget, if you consume 80%, it's going to notify you. Now, why is this important? It's important that you have budget like this so that it enables you to control cost and you don't create resources at random. So if you're paying for things that you don't need, then it means that you're wasting money. Now, if you are on a tight budget, you'll be forced to optimize to ensure that only what you need, that is what you are creating. And then you want to stay within your budget of not exceeding and spending unnecessarily like that. So AWS gives you that opportunity to have a budget or to create a budget like that. So if you go to, where is that account again? Where was it? Not that part, not that part. I know this part. Okay, here. So if you come here under still under the course explorer. No, not there. Where is it again? I've forgotten where that thing is. Because okay, budget under budget. This is it here. Budget and planning, right? So you can literally set your budget. So you see, this one was 25. So you see, you've exceeded the budget, your monthly cost budget 3 times. You can literally create a new budget and say, oh, I want zero spend monthly cost budget, uh, zero spend. Any template that you want to use, monthly costs. And I'm saying that the amount should not be more than 100, like that. And then you're going to put the email here so that AWS will notify you based on your email. Now, you're going to, when your actual spend, say, you'll be notified, one, when your actual spend it reaches 85%, two, when your actual spend reaches 100%, and three, if your forecasted spend exceed 100% of your reach. So AWS is keep going to notify you and say, hey, you've passed that budget you said and all of that. So that's what budgeting it's all about in AWS, like that. So it enables you to keep track of your finances and how you're using resources in AWS, like that, in general. So the next is Cost Explorer to actually explore the cost, which I just show you this one in passing, to actually see which resource costs what and in which month. And you have a graph like this that shows you the different resources compared to the different months as where is it? I thought why did I open that thing? Okay, here. So like here, where you talk about the Cost Explorer, you see it here, where it actually shows you the services that you've used compared to the different months, and then you see it on a graphical view. You can literally see each cost and explore the services like that to compare them month after month. And so they have an overview of how your cost is moving from one point to another. Like that. That is just how the cost is. Then the support plan. Support plan is basically when you, because you don't know everything, nobody, there are certain job that you're going to work or you have, even AWS itself is going to make some level of errors, right? Within their system that you're doing something and it's not going as expected, or you need help. Even like for us, when we're working, the company will always need to have a support plan with AWS because there are certain solutions that you will not understand how to go about it. You need somebody who is working in AWS to be able to guide you through that solution. Even you who have a plan, there are things that you don't understand. If you just get up and you see that you're being charged for something that does not make sense, your services are down, it's unexpected, you try to investigate, nothing is going. You need somebody on the other side to talk to guide you or to do some deep analysis and proper investigations. That is where we talk about the support plan. Now, to have access to this support, you pay the different level of support and the time in which you get the support you pay for. Now, you have the basic support, which is just any person, they can respond to you in 24 hours, like that. So for free accounts, all accounts have the basic support. It allows customers to send messages, write papers, or inquiries of certain things. They start going out to the business, the developer support, the business support, the enterprise on RAM, and the enterprise support. So depending on your company's need, right, they're going to choose which particular support that they want, then they pay for, then they can start getting that support. For example, you want a developer support to have access to features such as best practice guidance, client-side diagnostic tools, right? So you need more diagnostic from AWS. Building block architecture support, which consists of how to use AWS offering features and services. So this one, a company can book for this support to actually empower their own engineers with the help of AWS. Now, business support is they identify different features and services that can best support your specific needs. So, like if you are working in a bank, you have like a banking solution. So, for business support, AWS, they're going to understand your need and then they give you support tailored to that need. So, You are not going to try to figure out. They can literally figure out what you really want, what is going to be best for your use case. Then they're going to give you. Then you allow all AWS trusted advisors check. Because even the trusted advisor as a service is not free, right? So for business support, you get it. You get all the trusted advisor. They get limited support for third-party system, right? Because you still use third-party system on AWS. So they're going to say, oh, we're giving limited support to that. Yes, Bobby. Bob Lupro. Bobby Lupro. Bobby, tell
Eh, Good morning once again to all. Thank you for this class today. And just my question is just regards to what we are talking about support.
Mm.
Does it can we reach out to AWS like in the case of setting up a business plan and everything, like some guidance to AWS through this AWS support, so that they can give us a guidance of what we can do in respect to uh, the activities which the company wants to carry out,
Yes, of
or
course.
require that when we are stuck somewhere, we reach out to them.
Yeah, now when you're creating your account, first there are different plans, right? So
Yeah.
you choose the account because we are creating basic account, so it's basic support. So the type of account you choose will already automatically activate the type of support that you get. You understand? But now,
Okay.
since we have basic account, for example, if I need support from AWS, just see, if I come here and say support, so you see AWS support is here as a service, right? So I'll go
Yeah.
to the support section. I like what happened. Yeah, I had a case. Where's my case? Now, do you want support based on account billing or you want technical support? You get the point. So
Okay.
these are the two support that you get. Then you now see for technical support, is it easy to storage support? What do you need? Like that. So they give you topics and all. So if you see all cases, I have one case here, production access that I needed, but they rejected the access. They rejected to give me, I needed access to their email services. So they gave me, I needed to write, we are launching this is that, attach a screenshot to tell them what I'm doing. Thank you for submitting your request. If you can provide additional information and so on. And at the end, they say, we have reviewed your request and determined that Amazon simple email service could have a negative impact on our service. We deny this request to prevent other customer from that. They refuse. Why? Because I'm using AI. My AI that I'm using it from a different company, and but I'm building it and running it on AWS. So they deny to give me access to this particular because it's going to be like maybe data breach or whatsoever. Now I still need to take my case further. So these are some I can reopen this case and still put pressure on them to give me access to probably they're now going to maybe set up a call and then do a one-on-one chat and follow up. So it just depends on what are the things that you want to have, right? If you have problem with your billing, yeah, you can create a case. I can create a new case, account and billing, and I talk about billing that they're billing me anyhow for something. Charge inquiry. Why did they charge me? Right? And then you can now say you want live chat, and then you chat with the person on live. So that's how support is all about. So if the case is because this is basic account, you're going to maybe get a response like in 24 hours by text and so on. But depending on your account type and the type of support, you're going to get somebody sit with you on a call and understand your request, chat with you, come back with you with a solution, get your emails, and probably walk you through based on the level of or the type of account that you have with them,
Okay. Okay, sir.
like that. So this is enterprise support. You get a pool of technical account. So when you're using enterprise support, you get a pool of technical account managers to provide proactive guidance, which means that They're not waiting for you to get a problem. They look at what you're already doing. They see that that will be a problem. They already guide you on how to go ahead to avoid certain issues. So they give you proactive guidance. They'll give you a cost optimization workshop for 1 year. They give you a concierge support team for billing and account assistance and all of this, right? Then you have now the enterprise support, which will give you a concierge. This is still the same. It's this, but this one now is 15 minutes, while this is 30 minutes. But it's all the same. Enterprise support, enterprise on-ramp support, it's all the same. They're just adding names because if you look at it, it's all the same plan. So these are the level of the different accounts and the kind of support that you can get from AWS. Now, when you talk about a technical account manager, it's primarily a point of contact at AWS. So the person, they're going to assign one person. Say if it's Baba, say Baba is in charge of your company's account. So which means that you can pick the phone anytime and call Baba, I have this issue, like that. So they give you a technical account manager, which is your primary point of contact. If your company subscribe to enterprise, your TAM educates, empower, and evolve your cloud journey across a full range of services. TAM provide expert engineering guidance and help design solution that efficiently integrates with AWS services and assists you with all of this. Yes, Lupro.
Yes, sorry for
Oh,
intervening.
go ahead.
Okay, I'm just so curious and eager to actually know more because for these people that work at AWS technical support, because so far when we started this course, AWS, the Cloud Practitioner, um, I've just had an image that, okay, we have DevOps engineers who work with the cloud and we have security practitioners and all of that. But I see that this technical support also is another part of AWS which you can focus on. Is there a possibility or like a roadmap which can guide someone towards this part? Or
When
is
you when you're certified, you just need to apply for the job, right? With AWS. AWS is a company like any other company. They hire guys like you and I, then they train you to become they hire you in the position of a technical account manager. They have a whole stuff that you're going to learn more, how to communicate with customers, how to assist customers. They train you in that position, and then they assign you a customer. So your job is to work with that customer like that. So it's a regular job, any regular job that you have with
okay? Okay.
yes.
Mm.
Let me just show you a LinkedIn real quick. Do I have that? Okay, this is my feed. On LinkedIn, if you see where is that guy? I hope that I have to see. So if you just search here TAM, no, I'm searching for job, not people. Technical. I don't know how to spell again. Account. Or let me put AWS TAM so that we see it AWS TAM. Right. So you see, these are guys that are working as TAM, senior TAM, AWS Media. These are people. Let's look for posts or jobs. No, no match with TAM. Sorry, hold on. Let me go back to my filter. There's one guy that okay, see, look here, this guy here is a enterprise support manager in AWS, and he said hiring a customer obsessed AWS TAM based in Barcelona or Madrid. If you insist on the highest standards or and curious about information technology and have experience working with IT environment, this position is for you. So you must not necessarily, so they'll take you and then they'll train you on AWS, right? If you look, this is a job here, Senior Technical Account Manager for AWS. This is AWS itself posting this job. So if you view this as two jobs, see, this is the guy who is posting the job, hiring 16 days ago, hiring Senior Technical Account Manager and all of that. So it's something which you can literally apply for and get the job. And then you'll be now working, you'll be principally working on AWS, but in AWS now working for you working with different companies as your client. So they will assign you to say, okay, you are the one working with this company with all the problems that they have in AWS. You are the point of contact. Maybe it's in security, maybe it's in data, maybe it's in this and that, like that. But TAM is mostly for AWS. But you must not be 100% AWS before you apply for a role like that. No. You can be from any IT background. You beat their interview. They're going to train you. What I like about AWS is when they hire you to work for AWS, you are going to be trained for 1 year before you actually started working full time before they actually would trust to give you a customer. You would need to start going to school. You need to get all their certification from cloud practitioner, associate, professional. You do everything. You need to do speaking tests, how to converse, communication, customer obsession, business. That is how they do it. That is their own culture. But not every company does it like that. You get the point? Okay. So, which plan support includes all AWS trusted checks at lowest cost? Which plan? A, B, C, or D? A, B, C, or D? Not A. There's all trusted advisor at lowest cost. Me, I'm going for B. C, sorry. Let me go and spy again. See, this is support. This is business. Business support, all AWS trusted advisor check. Yeah, developer does not have all trusted advisor, and the basic plan certainly does not have all trusted advisor, so it's business. All right. Marketplace. Now, just from the word marketplace, you understand that it's a market, right? So AWS has what they call a marketplace where you can have software listings. They have like thousands of software listings, independent software that are not AWS software, but they can be used on AWS. So companies can go there and buy or get software from them, adapt them to their solutions if they don't have the time to build and all of that. So AWS gives that opportunity for a marketplace where people can create their software and list it on the marketplace so that others can see and buy and use their software. The battery is low. So that is what the marketplace is all about. So that is where when you hear about third-party tools for AWS, mostly get the third-party tools for AWS Marketplace, like that. So if we want to see that in real, if I just go to my account here, let me see, I have Marketplace, AWS Marketplace. It's here. So I don't have any subscription here. So I want to discover products. So you're going to see all products. This is Fortinet. This is Snowflakes, CloudStrike, Endpoint, Trending Cloud. All of these are third-party tools that if you want to use them, Palo Alto for network security. So it all depends. It gives you the pricing. It's starting from $1, $1.6 per hour to 3,000 per year and all of that. So this is where even Amazon Linux is on its marketplace, right? People are actually using the operating systems and all of that. So you can buy, it enables other people to come and sell their software so that customers of AWS can literally have access to third-party softwares directly without actually doing much research or trying to get a lot of barrier. So that is just the marketplace. Now you can now select Internet of Things. If you want things, Internet of Things, you get that. Based on your category, you can literally buy any software that you want. We do summary and knowledge check. Let's go and answer questions now. So I don't know if it's okay. If this is okay with everybody, if we're understanding at this point, because this does not really have any technicality, it's just talk, talk, talk. If we're on track, we put one in the chat before we go to question and answer. Yes, Loisa.
All right, Prof, thank you. Earlier you were talking about API calls.
Yes.
Can you just elaborate on that for me, please? What that is exactly?
Now, we're talking about API calls as in when I was talking in CloudTrail, right? So
Right.
now when you access a service in AWS, or when another service accesses a service in AWS, you can do that through API call or as a user, correct? When we talk about API call, API simply means application programming interface. So the communication from one service to talk to another service, it use an API, what we call an API call. It either makes a request. Okay, so making that request or invoking, let me see, one service invoking another. So that process is called an API call. So CloudTrail can track that invocation to actually tell you that service A invoked service B. User A invokes user B, like that. So API in detail, there's a detail for API, but it was just to have that brief, just that brief description of what it is we are tracking. But to go in detail in API, it's just about an interface where one program can talk with another program through an interface. So that is what is called API, Application Programming Interface, where two programs can literally talk to each other via endpoints. So one application can make a request to another application through the endpoints, and that is referred to as the API calls. So you can either make a request, right, and then you get the feedback through the same program. For example, let me go back to my account. This is my account. Now we are still in CloudTrail. This is CloudTrail. Let's look at the events. Let's just instance information, put inventory. Let's look at this. Okay, now this is an assumption of role. Let me just show you that one real quick. I want to get something that is going to be. Okay, now let's just evaluate this. Now, this type here, the user identity, it assumes a role, right? And this is the access key. This is the access key, the principal ID, the account ID, and then the username. This is quick setup with SSM default. This is a service. Now, what was the event? What did this service do? Update instance information. Now, this service is a quick setup from SSM, that is System Manager, right? It update instant information. So it means that this service, this talk to this service by updating the instance information. Now, this is the IP address of the instance that it updated. This is the agent that it used. It's a Go language Linux agent, and all of this is all jargon. So given the fact that one service could invoke another, their communication is through an interface because it made a request to update its information. So that process is an API call, which CloudTrail tracks those kind of traces as well. If you see here, the event type, AWS API call, can you see that? Because it is a service talking to another service. It makes a request to change the information like that through it. Now, if you see this is an API call, right? Let's go to my own event that I did, user Baba, console login. Now, if you see my event type is sign in, it's not an API call because I'm a human being, a user. I'm using this account. So that is, I have an activity. When I'm working, I'm not doing API calls because I'm not a program, right? So I'm actually using the services. I'm actually manipulating the services. But when one service is talking to another service, both of them are programs, that is referred to as API calls because it's making a request through an endpoint. I don't know if you can see the difference to understand a little bit that.
Yes, thank you, Prof. And Prof, real quick, please stay on the screen.
Yes.
Why you have the console login success? Okay, so in case you have a failure, how
Yes.
do you troubleshoot that? I'm
No.
just curious.
Now, when you have a failure from your end, it's going to give you the reason why it failed. But this is CloudTrail. This CloudTrail is just there to get the activities that is happening with the account and storing it for investigation purposes.
Okay.
So, like now, I can see that Baba logged in here with the success, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Let me investigate further. Let me see. Was there another user? Which day is today? Let's go to page 2. I want to check. I know that I have a lot of users in this my account. Let me just hold on. Event name, user. Okay, username. Let me find specific user, Congo man. Do I have a user like that? No, I do not have any username like that. Baba. Why it's not? No, I'm saying username, please. Wow. Rather, so you can now see all the activities for me as a user here with my username generally. So it's about just keeping the activity of what is happening. So it does not give you if I logged in and it was a failure, right? It means that from my end, I will not even be able to enter into the account. So I will start troubleshooting from the error. Maybe it's the wrong password, maybe username not correct, and all of that. At that time, this guy might not record it because you are not yet in the account.
Okay.
Right? Yes.
Yeah, makes sense.
So this guy just keeps what is happening inside the account from the time you entered into the account or what is actually happening inside the account, not before it happens. So if you're having a failure, then it means that you have not even entered inside.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. All right. Any other question? All right, exam time. Now, test your knowledge with some of the key concepts. Now, what actions can you perform with consolidated billing? A, B, or C? Let's look at the screen and answer. What action? Review how much cost you predicted, create an estimated forecast, combine usage across account to receive volume price discount, visualize and manage your AWS cost and usage over time. Which action can you perform with consolidated billing? Guys, answer. Loisa says C. Frederick C. Doro says C. Okay, everybody says C. Now, there's a trick here. Even the question is trying to put me off, but consolidating building is combining uses across account. This across account, combined across account is consolidated, right? But then when I say to receive volume and pricing discount, that is where it throws everybody's off. Review how much you are predicted. That one does not make sense. Visualize your AWS cost and usage over time. Not this, not it. So select this one and it's correct. So the keyword there was combine usage across accounts. Any other thing that comes does not make sense. Now, which pricing tool is used to visualize, understand, and manage your AWS costs and usage over time? ABSC. Let me interject here. One, okay. So that I know where to start. Now you people should answer. ABSC. No, why are you putting one, Doisa? It should be A, B, A, B. I'm just putting the one so that I know where your answer is. Yes, okay. You said A. You guys should answer. Think about it again. Which pricing tool is used to visualize, understand, and manage your AWS costs? Let's just say C. Guys, we are 9 on the call. So let's say C. Yeah, so the answer B, Bobby. Bobby Le Pro. All right. Yeah, it's A is used to calculate as a calculator. It's not used to visualize cost over time and usage over time. Budget is to set a threshold for your cost consumption, right? But the cost explorer, it's an explorer. So for you to explore something, you visualize it, you understand it over time, month after month after month. So the right answer is the cost explorer. Let's submit and see that's correct. Okay. Juro, I'm not getting you.
It's going for enjoyment and just now picking. Joel worries okay. Joel anyway, Joel was okay, but you know, still not stay out later.
All right. Now, which pricing tool enable you to receive alerts when your service usage exceeds a threshold that you have defined? Alerts. When the threshold that you define is exceeded, which tool enables you? Is it the billing dashboard? Is it the budget, free tier, or AWS Cost Explorer? Okay, B, the budget. Yes, when you set the budget, you set the threshold. When it passes, and then you get an alert. Okay. Now, your company wants to receive support from AWS Technical Account Manager. Which support plan should you use? Which support plan should you use? So, A, B, C, or D, they want to get the AWS Technical Account Manager. So, which plan does AWS Technical Account Manager comes in full force? Oh la la.
Hi, my name is Umeki Polapaka.
All right. It's B. B is the enterprise support that gives you the AWS Technical Account Manager. Now, which service or resource is used to find third-party software that runs on AWS? A, B, C, or D. To find third-party software that runs on AWS. Yes, that one is AWS Marketplace, which is A. Great. Submit. So the next module, time has gone on. So we have how many modules left? 2. Okay, we're already done. Let's see. Now, this other module, it's about, where is it? Migration and innovation. So while you're in the cloud, while you are not in the cloud, or companies are not in the cloud, they need a reason to go to the cloud. And moving to the cloud is referred to as migration, right? How do you migrate and innovate? The strategies put in place and all of that, right? So if I start this, we're going to take a lot of time. So we'll leave this here, and then for one session, we'll finish this for the next session, and that is done. It'll be final for everything. Which I still employ you guys to. I don't know if somebody like Louisa and Ernest, you have access to this data.
Do you mean the AWS skill builder?
Yes.
I do.
All right.
I've signed up for that. Prof, real quick, can you give me access to your previous recordings?
I'll do that. I'll share it in the group. It's on YouTube actually, so I'll share it in the group.
Please. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, what I want you guys to do is for those that, because even though the initial goal was everybody, I want everybody should take the security certification, which is a step of seriousness on your own path for us to prepare for our exams. We're going to use AWS Boys, this website, practice exams. Let me share it in the chat. That is the link. So you have topics here which you can start. You have 450 questions for the Cloud Practitioner exam for AWS Boys. So I encourage you guys to go create your accounts here. So we are going to start looking at practice 1, practice 2, practice 3. We are going to answer it, and then we keep practicing while you're taking your exams, because after we do the practice, you register your exams and then write for your certification, which we are all prepared for, and it's all moving well. Then we can now start looking at, I'm not saying that we're going to do AWS, the next certifications. No, we'll not really do the next certification like that immediately, but we're going to put this theory into practice by start working on projects. Now, if you want to continue into the cloud engineering path, then you keep on working. If you want to take up like a diverse field, like okay, you maybe want to go into DevOps and all of that, since you're already learning, tomorrow you have a class with Mr. Atanga in Linux, right? So you already now start learning how to use the server, Linux, the ls commands, and all of that. So we start seeing how we can host a website or build a practical project in AWS from start to finish, actually creating your accounts and beginning from the concept of the solution using where's draw.io? Okay, like beginning from thinking and visualizing, putting the services together from a diagrammatic point of view. Then you actually build it and see the result, and then you start having it under your belt, under your portfolio as projects like that. So I think that after this, that is what we start doing, so that you actually have the practical. Okay, I'm a practical guy. I really do not like this class. Not that I don't like the class, but I don't like theory teaching, right? I really like the practical aspect. So it's really going to be the best part of the course, like doing the practical stuff, and then you start having that adrenaline rush where you build something and then it actually works. They were like, okay, this is it. So after next class, we are going to move towards that stage. Why I still encourage everybody to take the certification exams. It's really important that you have it, and then you start building projects and understanding more, and then you start applying for jobs. You don't need to have all the certification to start applying for job. Really, you don't. After this, and if you work after this course and then you work with 2 or 3 projects, you're good to go to start applying for a job anywhere as a cloud engineer. And they go and start filling the interviews, and then you'll be learning now on the interviews like that. That's how it is. So that is how we are going to do it. Next class we'll round up everything, and then we start doing questions and answers, and then we start out preparing the projects. And there's a lot of applications to be built. Since you're doing Linux, you understand a lot much better like that. So yeah, that is it. I don't think I have this Gemini cookbook. Yeah, so we'll end here. I don't think if you have any questions to ask me or whatever, you can ask. Thank you guys for coming. We can stop here for today.
Prof, please, the
Yes,
link, the YouTube
Prof,
link.
thank you very much, sir. God bless you.
you're welcome.
I'm very happy towards the whole thing. At least by next week, we mean business.
Yeah, next week is business.
Prof.
We'll mean business, sir.
Business.
Loisa, you have a question. I didn't get your question.
She was asking for the
No,
link.
to the previous recordings.
Oh, okay. Let me go to YouTube. If you go to YouTube and then you go to previous learning,
Primus Veku, and this is Primus.
because it should be somewhere. Yeah. The first ones are not nice, so these ones.
All right, so
this is where we started. So this was week 2. I'll upload the other ones, but it's a playlist, so you have it here. Where is it? Let me just play all. Yes. All right, so I'll share.
All right, so we'll begin.
I'll share you the playlist for week 2. Let me just show you week 1. You see, you will see week 2 there. So copy the link, and it's here in the chat. So I'll put the link here in the chat. So this other past class we had on Zoom, I'll upload it as well. It's going to be more clearer than what we're doing on TikTok. So it's going to be much more better because it's Zoom like that, but you'll manage. So yeah, that is it. That's the link. For week 1 and week 2, I'm going to put 3, week 4, and then this week 5. I'll put all the videos maybe today. The remaining videos, I'll upload them today. Like that. And week 6 will be tomorrow, next week, and that'll be the last week for the Cloud Practitioner course. Okay. All right, great. Any other thing? If we are good to go, we can call it a day. Mr.